What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Cornelia, back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. So I'm gonna keep this week's episode really brief because your girl done caught another cold, man. I done caught the cold. I thought it was allergies. Okay. I'm one of those Black people who think everything is the allergies, even though I'm in LA and we don't really have obscene levels of pollen. But I ain't do nothing different to get the cold. So the fact that I caught the cold, I'm down bad. I feel like I was just sick. I had the COVID now a little while ago. Was doing terribly. Bounced back, but I haven't been taking my natural supplements. I did ease up. So this is partially on me. I've probably been touching some surfaces and doing the most, but I done caught the cold. So I'm not going to drag this episode along for the sake of y'all not having to listen to me sound a hot ass mess. Okay? Awesome. But with that, I would like to talk about the Will Smith rebrand. Can we talk about the Will Smith rebrand? Can we discuss the strategy behind bringing Will Smith back? Because let's be honest. From the time of the Chris Rock slap to now, a lot of things have happened. Some people counted him out, some didn't. Some were mad at him, some weren't. Some cast him aside and some didn't. Some didn't think he was going to make no comeback. Some did. And some people said a comeback wasn't even required. He ain't never left. But there's no denying that some form of rebrand has happened. And I have to tell you, I like it. Okay, I don't like it. And that is, or could be considered controversial for me, because as a comedian and having other friends and colleagues that are comics, there were some people who drew a very deep line in the sand in regards to their feelings about Will Smith based on him slapping Chris Rock. I don't remember what I said on Black News, and at the time it was very touchy, and y'all know I ain't the one to be standing out and talking against no comics and using my platform for that. But I will say, I was one of those people. I mean, I wasn't really angry about the snap. Could things have been handled differently? Sure. Do I agree with people getting hands put on them? Not really. I don't like fighting. Do I know sometimes shit happens? Sure do. Do I think some of the backlash and some of the conversations that sparked and some people being dramatic about it, do I think a lot of that was kind of all over the place? Yep, sure was. Did I think that Will Smith could have a rebrand and bounce back? I don't know what I assumed or what I thought could happen, because when it comes to Black people in Hollywood, there ain't no blueprint of people being punished or being allowed to continue on. You just got to look at every situation on a case-by-case basis and see how it's going to play out. I.e., Columbus Short, Nate Parker, now Jonathan Majors, Isaiah Washington, and now Will Smith. Not to say that all of those people have anything in common as far as what allegations were, what they were accused of, what happened, what they did not do, what they said, and what they did not say. I'm just saying that and giving those people as an example of some Black people, men in Hollywood, that to an extent have been reprimanded and cast aside for whatever reasons. And all of those people that I named, except Will Smith, and I will take Jonathan Majors out of that because it's still too new, they have been punished in ways that we have not seen them publicly bounce back or bounce into where they left off as far as stature and the quality of work that they've been a part of, and just reputation. So again, not to say that any of those people are similar in what was surrounding them and the circumstances. I'm just saying those people that I named, they ain't been doing what they used to do. And it's a lot of sadness to some extent for some people to see that, because all of them that I named be acting they ass off. Okay. Hey, they miss them on the screen. But with that in mind, right? Will Smith has shown with this Bad Boys Ride or Die press run with Martin Lawrence, that if you position yourself correctly and you have the right strategy and you know where your support is, it's going to open up the door and give you an opportunity to walk through it and to continue building your reputation back with other groups. Because a part of me, and I'm saying that because this press run was very heavy on black content, black outlets. It was skewing us, okay, skin folk. And I don't know and I'm sure there were conversations during their strategy sessions about how they're going to promote this movie and who they should promote it to. I'm sure that was a part of the conversation, right? Like, who support me, who still rock with me as Will Smith, and what I need to do to make the best of this opportunity. Because one thing that was on the line, take the reputation out of it. As a Hollywood movie star, Will was and is still one of the most bankable Hollywood stars, black, white, male, female. And Will Smith has had significant success when it comes to films grossing a certain amount of money. So they needed to figure this out, because he got a reputation to hold as Mr. Box Office, and this movie had to do numbers. It just had to. The budget that they spent to get it made, credibility wise, franchise wise, it had to do big numbers. And it's an ego thing, I'm assuming, because people keep talking about how the movie's dying and don't nobody want to go to the movies, and going in theaters is played out. I'm pretty sure, and I'm only saying this because of not being familiar with competitive spirit, that Will was like, yeah, I can get them back in theaters. Yeah, okay. Tom Cruise did that with Top Gun 2. Okay, we got you. We're going to do this with Bad Boys. So there have been, on a press run, you got, you go to media outlets, radio interviews, you have different social media strategies, depending on how big the budget is. Because if you kind of pay attention, movies don't get them early 2000s, 2010s, 1990s budgets when it comes to marketing. It has to be a major movie with some major weight behind it for it to feel like one of them old school box office runs. Or you gotta be able to have somebody on that team that is advocating for that. And when it comes to black movies, that is even more so the case. And a real quick side note, I don't even know if we will categorize, you know how they like to categorize movies, black movies, because of the stars? I feel like Bad Boys kind of supersedes that. It is black because of Martin and Will. But is it? Anyway, and are movies really black movies? But some of them black as hell. You know, I take it back. Some of them be black. But there were movies recently that kind of had similar big budget promo runs, right? Color Purple, huge budget for promo. Everywhere you went, it was color purple. Purple outfits, sending out purple gift boxes, Telfar bags, purple, handwritten invitations to the movie theaters, brunches, choirs, you name it. Color Purple press run was going hard. Another one, Creed 3. Creed is a franchise, has proven itself to be a huge moneymaker. So at that point, studios are willing to put some budget behind those projects because they know it's going to make some money, right? You can't miss. You can't miss with a Rocky franchise, Michael B. Jordan as the star, Tessa Thompson, and at the time, Jonathan Majors, who was, or maybe still is, who knows, considered to be the next Hollywood star. So to see this Bad Boys press run, it was dope to see it because they was everywhere. They had Martin and Will Smith all over the place. They even implemented a new influencer strategy for them. It's not a new strategy overall, but they really tapped into another form of marketing and promo by finding the biggest creators on social media, doing funny videos, having moments on social with them. So there's another viral element outside of the traditional just going on TV and radio doing interviews. But also, Martin and Will seemed like they purposely went to outlets and did interviews about the movie that wouldn't be harping on him slapping Chris Rock, because that is important. Depending on where you go, and depending on the relationships you build, and depending on the undercurrent of culture, right? And the familiarity with whoever you're talking to, that interview and this press run could have turned into, do you feel bad about the slap? Blah, 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 blah. And Will Smith was already, I feel like, in the process of shifting the narrative before this during the hip hop 50-year anniversary celebrations. He tapped back into his musical side. He was performing with DJ Jazzy Jeff. He started the podcast where he was interviewing some of his peers within hip hop. So he was already positioning himself to be around people who he knew who would not harp and focus on that, to not continue to feed the narrative about what happened. That is very strategic and key. Because if you stop asking the questions, people will move on to something else. I wish when Jada Pinkett Smith did her press run, her promo run, that she, and this might ruffle some feathers, went to a few more non-hip hop-esque urban platforms to talk about her book Unworthy, because when you link up with them, they gonna want to know about Tupac. And when the interview comes out and then the clips on social media go viral, they then turn around and blamed it on Jada for talking about Tupac, when in fact the people that were interviewing her were the ones bringing it up. But again, that may be controversial, okay? But the point that I'm making with this is, it was very strategic. And if you are interested in like Hollywood and marketing and promo and movie promotion, this was a master class in a press run and promotion for two 50-some-year-old men and how they managed to keep themselves relevant, keep the franchise relevant, and promote in a way that wasn't old school, even though they are technically old Hollywood. Another thing that I also thought was real dope was Will Smith recorded himself for social media going to movie theaters, watching the movie, being in there with regular old moviegoers without them knowing, and then coming out of the theater and then starting interactions with those moviegoers. Viral, okay? Viral. Whoever Will Smith, whoever the Overbrook social media team, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Now, what was that? The Canoga Park one was a little more low key, because if y'all know about Canoga Park, that's in the valley out here in LA, and that ain't the black crowd, okay? But he went down to the to South LA. I don't know if it was the old Magic Johnson Theater, because that's no more. But whatever the old Magic Johnson Theater is that y'all hear about, the equivalent, this the same clientele, okay? Same clientele. You go down there to see any movie, it's going to be on 100,000. I went down there, not to that same movie theater, but I went to South LA to watch Avengers Endgame. And when I tell you they was in there cussing and fussing at the bad guys, you gonna get an experience. They going to be turned, okay? It's going to be action packed in the crowd. But Will Smith showed himself in the theater, had a mask on. Nobody knew it was him. He walked out. He said something to one of the people like, yeah, that was a real good movie, wasn't it? And as soon as that happened, women started screaming. He got dapped up by 4,000 people. They took pictures hugging him, crowd giving him high fives. He kissing babies, doing the most, cheering. They had their hands in the air and talking about some, yeah. That's how you get people back. And that is how you visibly shift the narrative, because now that people see that people are on your side, they start to question, why aren't they on your side? And then they start to say, oh, do people fool with Will Smith again? Yeah, because on social media, I'm skimming through. Black people on social media, like, who speak for yourself. We never cancel Will Smith. I even responded to, there was one article posted up, Deadline or one of the news publications, that said like box office shocker or box office stunned or something. It said something to the effect that that it was a shock or disappointment that Bad Boys Ride or Die did so well. It did $100 and some million this weekend globally. US, I believe it did over $50 million. A shock for who? A shock for who? Because regardless of what has happened with Will Smith, regardless of people feeling away and people reacting the way that they did at the Oscars that year, Martin Lawrence is still in that movie. And Martin Lawrence is one of the best and most bankable comedians out, period. So the fact that even with people feeling the way that they felt about Will Smith, knowing what that franchise has done and discounting that, even with Martin Lawrence in the movie, to me, that's crazy. You set yourself up for your own disappointment. Okay? You set yourself up for your own disappointment. So I liked the promo run. I love press junkets, and like, not press junkets per se, but I like seeing how movies handle that marketing piece. It just be a good old time. And, there's opportunities for some real, just some cute and specific and unique moments. And even when I think about press junkets and promo runs, I always go back to how those types of interactions and those videos on social media and YouTube are some of the last and best memories that we as a public and consumer have of Chadwick Boseman, because that Black Panther press run was very special. It was great seeing that a group of actors interact with each other. There was some heartfelt moments. Chadwick was laughing his ass off, and we still have that today. So I loved what they did. Are we canceling Will Smith? I don't think we ain't gay. No. Hey, Will Smith, they canceled. I'm going to tell you, I never canceled Will Smith. I wasn't really tripping. I wasn't really tripping on what had happened. Hey, I understand. So that's that. But people like Stephen A. Smith started speaking out, talking about, I'm gonna play the clip. I ain't want to play the clip, but I might play the clip just so y'all can hear a little bit what he had to say, because he got some more backlash. And let me add, if there is anybody who manages to be completely off base with anything and everything affecting Black people and Black culture at this moment in time, it is Stephen A. Smith. I ain't never seen somebody so off with all of the hot takes. It's just baffling. But before I consider playing the clip, let me talk about Martin Lawrence. Because this whole time, and back up, the reason why I'm a stand-up comedian is because of Martin Lawrence and Sinbad. I admire lots of comedians. I have studied a lot of comedians' work, but the two that I originally and initially watched that had me sitting down as a little girl thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. I can do that. It was Martin and Sinbad. So those two, have such a special place in my heart. I have not met either one of them. Some comics, because they don't be out all the time. And Sinbad's not really doing well. He had a stroke, so he on the up and up. I definitely have never bumped into Sinbad, but Martin he'd be around every now and then, be at the Comedy Store. But every time he there, I ain't there. So I still ain't met Martin Lawrence, and it's making me feel away. But I don't appreciate how all over social media there have been people talking about Martin's health and saying he looks like something's off. Did he have a stroke? He doesn't look well. What's going on with Martin? What's going on with Martin? I appreciate the idea that people are concerned about one of our legends, but it still makes me sad and disappointed that we haven't learned anything from Chadwick Boseman in regards to commenting on someone's health without us knowing a damn thing. Because y'all remember, people was all up over Chadwick Boseman talking about how he look and everything and bloop, 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 boo. And then come to find out he was fighting for his actual life. The brother had cancer. Do he want to tell people? Did he want to tell people? No. And I say that because at one point, and I'm assuming it's still this way in Hollywood. It may not be. I may be a little off. So if you are on production, behind the scenes, or an exec level, and you know otherwise, please correct me, and I'll come back on Black News and set the record straight. But at one point, and I'm sure it's probably still this way, you had to insure your movie. And one thing that people need to know when they are spending or putting millions of dollars behind a movie is that the people involved are going to be able to complete the film. People need to be healthy. Your stars have to be dependable, and they have to trust that outside of freaks of nature, this thing gonna get done, start to finish. There was a rumor a while before, when Whitney Houston was still alive, that one of the reasons why the Waiting to Exhale sequel was not taking too long, but there was always like some conversation around trying to move it forward, is because they needed to make sure that Whitney was healthy enough to do it. They need to make sure she insured, like that she's good. People want to know. I'm gonna give y'all $100 million for this to make it. Are we gonna be able to finish? So, as entertainers in Hollywood, I won't say that it's not common, but as Black people, I don't necessarily know or think that it is wise to publicly say that you are struggling with your health or are experiencing some challenges, because that could affect your ability to work later on. Or some people just don't want you in their damn business. Or some people they're fine and they just getting older. My parents are totally different now than they were when they were older. Then they were younger. I'm sorry. Ain't no strokes. They just different. They old. But I'm pointing that out because Martin said on many interviews, because they asked him, they said, listen, the fans keep saying something going on. Let's set the record straight. He said, I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm good. Don't worry about it. But if he's in fact not, we're going to just have to trust Martin, his judgment, and trust his family and the people close to him that he is handling it the way that he needs to and wants to handle it. Let's not put no sicknesses on him. Let's just go with it. He our legend. And if he's slowing down a little bit, you know what? People be slowing down. He's still the man. That's still Martin, and that's still our guy. And we gonna go see him as long as he out here. But one more time, I'm not 100% sure as a Black person in Hollywood, because they already be hating on us, that it is in your best interest to be out here telling people that you have had or are having or could have some health or medical challenges. Just food for thought. Otherwise, listen, I still have not seen Bad Boys Ride or Die. I was very busy this past weekend, but I'm going to go Thursday or Friday. I am set, ready to go. I might even go see it in 4DX. Y'all know you go see there's 3D, but there's 4D. 4D, you feel like you in a damn roller coaster. I went to see Wakanda Forever in 4D. Child, the seat was rocking. When they were in the water was spraying me, it was hitting me in my natural. I had to turn the water off because it was wetting my natural up. But I might go ahead and see it again because Bad Boys Ride or Die. When they be shooting and get the guns and stuff, it's gonna be tapping me in the back. It's gonna be in my back. Okay, I might want to feel it on my back. So I'm looking forward to though. I heard people talk about it. I even saw a damn spoiler on Twitter, of course. But people were saying it was a really good time. And I'm a fan of the franchise. I'm not a super fan, but I enjoy it because I know we're going to get quality entertainment from Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. So I'll update y'all once I go see it and let y'all know how it was. If you saw Bad Boys Ride or Die, let me know your thoughts about it. Did you think it was good? How would you rank the franchise? People been ranking them. Right now, before seeing Bad Boys Ride or Die, I will rank him in order so far. Bad Boys 1, 2, and 3. 1 is a classic. 2's damn good. 3, it was a good time. But I wouldn't put it at the top. So where does Bad Boys 4 fall into that? Y'all let me know your thoughts. You can hit me up and let me know at Cornelia on social media. And now also thinking about it, I'm not going to play the Stephen A. Smith hating clip because we ain't no haters. Okay? So hit me up. I'm at Cornelia. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about the Bad Boys 4 promo run, the resurgence and the return of Will Smith, and also the legendary Martin Lawrence. Let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is Cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.